3DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports 56 Middays with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. The first hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by Action247.com. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I got a piece of land out in the countryside. Lay back and smell the sun. Warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good friends.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome into Sports 56 Middays. We are back in the friendly confines of the Family Leisure Studios. It has been a week. We were out there at TPC Southwind for the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational. Then yesterday we spent some time over at Spring Creek Ranch. Had a fantastic time, but back home inside the Family Leisure Studios, as I mentioned, where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. It's the Tuesday, August 10th, 2021 edition of Sports 56 Middays. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd producing all week long, in for Gabe Kuhn. First hour of the program is brought to you by Action 24/7. On the program today, we got some great guests lined up for you. Connor O'Gara is back after a vacation last week. He is our Tuesday college football regular from Saturday Down South and Saturday Tradition. He'll join us at 10:25. He just published a top 25 college football head coaches list. We'll go over that and also get his thoughts on the passing of Bobby Bowden and who he considers a legendary coach that is still coaching or retired but alive. We'll get his thoughts. We talked about that on the program yesterday. At 11:30, the former National League Most Valuable Player and 2008 World Series champion from the Philadelphia Phillies, also played with the Dodgers and I believe maybe the White Sox in his final year, Jimmy Rollins. J-Roll will join us at 11:30. He was here last week for the Danny Thomas Pro-Am. And at 12:05, our friend Drew Hill, who wrote a great story about Zaire Williams for the Daily Memphian. He's the Memphis Grizzlies beat writer. We'll get his thoughts on not only Zaire, but what he's seen so far in Summer League, which we'll talk about in just a moment. That got underway Sunday, but the Grizzlies played their first game yesterday. They won the game. Mixed bag as far as individual performances. We will dive into that on the program today. Luka Doncic with a huge contract, as he'll remain in Dallas for a number of years to come. We got Major League Baseball news to get into, including a crazy game between the Yankees and the Royals. 2.5 questions on the docket today. We got Humdinger's Trivia coming your way just after 11 o'clock. We'll also tell you what the topic will be for tomorrow's 5 favorite things. That's the lineup for the show. And, of course, you could always be a part of the program. Hit us up on the AutoZone text line at 901-360-8255, which is the same number for the AutoZone phone line, 901-360-8255. We always love hearing from you. Listen, if you just want to kick back, relax, and listen, that is perfect as well. Eli, do you remember this place? Does it look different to you?
Have
things changed?
They put this new children's play gym behind me since I've been gone.
Oh, I just noticed that.
Yeah, so that's a little different.
That's nice.
Yeah, I've been sliding down the slide here. It's been a lot of fun.
It was
probably over the weight limit, but I'm taking that chance. Hasn't broken yet, so that's all good. We've now yesterday, Penny Hardaway joined us on the program.
He sure did.
And he said there would be some news, could be some more news this week. And he was correct. There is more news.
Yeah, but it's not the news that everybody's been waiting for with bated breath.
It is not. Although people have been waiting for the non-conference home schedule. And the Tigers have officially announced their non-conference home schedule. They do get the Alabama game at home. Again, that was the series that was supposed to start last year as an exhibition, and this year was supposed to be played at Alabama. But they do get they have switched that. So the Alabama game is at home, but that is the only, I guess, premier game, you would say, on the home schedule. They will play 2 exhibitions, as they will play both Lemoyne-Owen and Lane College. Of course, Lane College now coached by Andre Turner.
Good for Andre. When we had Andre on after he got the job, we talked about that, getting an exhibition with Penny Hardaway, so obviously that's worked out.
Lemoyne Owen will be on October 24th. Lane College will be either on October 30th or 31st. Then they will have their first regular season home game on the 9th of November against Tennessee Tech. Then on November the 13th, it'll be North Carolina Central. On the 16th, St. Louis University. The
St. Louis not a bad opponent.
No, it's not bad. They're good. They're a good team, but they're certainly not a premier team.
No.
The 19th of November is Western Kentucky. Again, solid team, good team. Saw them last year, but not a premier team.
Yes, but it is the revenge factor game because the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers knocked off the Tigers in South Dakota last year when they had that big guy, was it Bassie?
Yeah, and he's no longer there.
He's no longer there. Rick Stansbury's there still, the head coach, but yeah, that's a revenge game.
Then on either December 10th or 11th, it'll be Murray State. Then on the 14th of December is when Alabama comes to town. So you can mark your calendars, December 14th for Alabama. And then on 1 week later, December the 21st, another team from Alabama, Alabama State, comes in.
Now, here's what's interesting.
The Alabama State University.
Here's what's interesting. I'm looking at the email that was sent out to us, and it says current 2021-22 Memphis Tigers men's basketball schedule. So I wonder if this is subject to change or additions. I would think that maybe it is, because just as soon as yesterday afternoon, after we finished up the show, I was talking to somebody in the know, and they said they're looking to add another school to the home schedule. And I had already known about most of these opponents, so I'm not sure if this is complete. Maybe it is, but I also see on the schedule games that have already been announced, including Virginia Tech, November 24th in the NIT season tip-off, right? The NIT different than the postseason NIT, of course, which the Tigers are the defending champions. Hopefully they won't be available to defend their title. Then they'll play November 26th, also in Brooklyn, at the Barclays Center versus either Iowa State or Xavier. They're at Ole Miss on December 4th, and they'll play Tennessee in the neutral court game at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville on December 18th. So you mentioned Alabama on December 14th at home, Tennessee on the 18th. That's a tough little stretch there. But what I like is that they're not opening up too early with a big-time opponent. But there's really, other than the SEC teams, which are always tough. You know, Alabama lost a lot of talent to the NBA this year, and so did Tennessee. But Rick Barnes reloaded. He's got a lot of talent still there. And, of course, Kennedy Chandler, the Memphian. But Virginia Tech, Iowa State, Xavier, I mean, all solid, but nothing that knocks your socks off. So, again, this is a schedule that will be look, it's not a walk in the park. But this isn't one you look at and go, man, murderer's row.
Well, obviously the home schedule right there alone. There's one game in Alabama that you would say would be a question mark. They should win every one of those other games. Western Kentucky, again, I'm sorry, but shouldn't have lost to them last year. Certainly shouldn't lose to them now without Charles Bassie on your home floor.
Right.
And St. Louis U, while it's a good program, a solid program, and tournament team, in a lot of years, you should beat St. Louis U on your home floor.
Well, that's what you usually do. You usually set up a home schedule that's very much in your favor. But I'm sure people who are purchasing tickets would like to see a more formidable home schedule. But Penny said, quote, "We've put together a challenging home schedule to start the season. These first couple of months will certainly help prepare our team for conference play. And we are excited to play in front of Tiger Nation at FedEx Forum." Of course, in the conference, you do get some strong teams, but teams right now that are still trying to find their way back. Cincinnati is normally a strong program. It is not. It wasn't last year. Wichita State ended up having a good year despite the whole situation with their head coach, but they'll be formidable. UCF is expected to be pretty solid. They have everybody coming back pretty much. And Houston will be certainly a power in the conference. But we've seen this conference in some years be more formidable than it is. And again, the way I read it, says current 2021-22 Memphis Tigers men's basketball schedule. Now, maybe the home schedule is set, and they're talking about adding another game on the road. But when it says current, to me, it says like that is possibly subject to change.
Well,
Unless they're
there's
talking
a couple
about the
of games.
dates.
They're already they have a couple of different dates, and
That's
they don't
what
have
it may be
times
too.
for any of this
yeah,
stuff. So
yeah,
I mean,
that's what it may be. You're right. You're
they're
right.
not going to add. They're not going to release the schedule then add games later. They're still going to add games.
Happened a lot last year.
Well, that's what. No kidding. They're not going to release their home schedule and then go, oh, by the way, a week later, oh, we've added another game. Like they would just wait the week to add the game.
You would think so, but they also want to. They want to jump on this wave of good news with the decision by Jalen Duren Friday to make sure that they are getting season ticket announcements out there. And this is what's part of this email that was sent to us. Season ticket holders can renew their season tickets and all this, purchasing new season tickets. The ticket office, they give so obviously they are jumping on this quickly to make sure that they get people excited as early as they can to go out there and purchase their season tickets. And people will be absolutely excited with the roster that has been put together, which could have an additional player tomorrow or whenever that announcement is made by Imani Bates. And again, what we're hearing is Memphis could be the front runner. Many people believe they are the front runner. There are a few that still think that maybe Oregon. I don't believe he'll go back to Michigan State where he had committed originally, but I don't know the guy. And then there's always that possibility with the G League and the NBL. But I'm thinking that Imani Bates is going to follow Jalen Duren to Memphis and team up.
A text on the AutoZone text line at 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. That is the AutoZone text line and the AutoZone phone line as well. Says, sounds like 4 or 5 cream puffs to help get to the NC2A. Well, I mean, none of the cream puffs are going to help them one way or another getting to the NCAA. The games that are going to help them get there, you got to be able to beat the Alabamas, and you're going to have to beat the St. Louis's,
Tennessee,
and some of those win some of the road games, the neutral stuff. The other games are just bye games that they need on their home schedule. They have to have home games, and so it would be nice to have one other Power 5 opponent on the home schedule, but the way it played out, that's not going to happen.
I can tell you this. It is not easy, number one, to get a home game against a big-time opponent. Number two, Penny Hardaway's not backing away against any opponent. He would love to be able to play North Carolina and Duke and Kentucky. He would absolutely love to do it, but it takes two to tango. It takes two. Cal has said it a million times. If he ever played Memphis again, it wouldn't be in Memphis. So you'd either have to go to Lexington or a neutral court. So you got to be creative. Laird Veach and company have to be creative in looking at the future opponents and trying to schedule them, because it's not every day that you can get a big name to come to your home arena, even in a home and home. It's not always a given. Memphis doesn't have that cachet that some of these other programs have that can get those type of opponents, or television setting up a big neutral court game. But they're doing what they can do. He is not backing away from anybody. Vincent is dialed in on the AutoZone phone line, 360-8255. Hey, Vincent.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing great, thank you.
I know everybody's excited about the Duren signing. So am I, particularly after losing the 3 that we lost and had come off the high of the NIT championship. I was concerned about what was going to happen, but Penny has recovered extremely well. My thing is, I'm really wondering how this NIL situation is going to shake out in the locker room in terms of players. Certain players getting a certain amount of money, other players may not get anywhere close to that. Do you think that's going to cause a problem over a period of time, or do you think they'll just accept what they're getting to move forward? Because if a guy like, let's say, Duren come in and he can get $500,000 to $750,000 or whatever, some people even said up to $1 million, and then somebody like Chandler Lawson may only get $50,000 to $60,000 to run a camp, or advertise for King Tide hot dogs. So I'm just wondering, is that going to be a problem?
All right, let me
what do y'all think about this?
We'll talk about it, Vincent. Thank you for the call. We have certainly broached this subject in the past. By the way, Jonathan Lawson, the freshman, was the one with the camp. I don't know if he said Chandler, but yeah, I mean, there's always that possibility at Memphis or anywhere else that you could have some jealousy and some issues. But that's where it's important that the coaches and the players are all on the same page, that they understand that to be able to get to where they want to get to, and that's the Final Four and hopefully a national championship, that to get as much talent as they can get is what they need to do. And if that means bringing in some of the top players in the country who demand more from an NIL, meaning they'll be able to get more, then so be it. But yes, we don't know at this point whether or not in time, when those numbers are released, when it comes out, because it'll come out, that one player says, this is crap. This is BS. I don't like what's going on. But it is not. Everything's not equal. So they have to understand that there's going to be there's a strong possibility that Jalen Duren is going to get a lot of money from the NIL deals that he'll have to play at the University of Memphis, and the same deal with Imani Bates if he comes to Memphis or wherever he goes.
Yeah, I guess there's always a chance that some people may have a problem. And, even Penny Hardaway talked with us yesterday about the fact that there will be guys who worry about playing time and have issues and things like that. But you just have to understand that you got to compete and you want to win. But, these guys all want to be NBA players. They can look at the NBA and understand that guys on NBA rosters, some make a lot more money than other guys on NBA rosters make. And if you're drafted first overall, you get a lot more money than you get if you're drafted 45th overall. There is a hierarchy in sports, and the better players get more than the lesser players. And so that's just the way it is. And plus, if you're a highly ranked recruit, there's a good chance you'll end up getting more NIL money than somebody who's not a highly ranked recruit. I think they all understand it. I think they understand the hierarchy. They understand they were the best player on their previous team. They won't be the best player on this team.
Well, they understand it. It doesn't mean that there can't be an issue, whether it be in Memphis or any other program. So, Vincent's point is well taken. But I think you made a great point in the ultimate goal, and that's the NBA. So if these players want to get to the promised land, they have to understand, like you said, that it's not all equal. There are stars and there are rotation players and there are end-of-the-bench players. But if you can get there, that's quite the accomplishment, because a very few, very small percentage get there. And if you want to rock the boat now, you may hurt yourself in the future. But if you accept everything and understand that if you work hard and work harder, who knows? Maybe you make a bigger name for yourself than those guys do. And in the end, you're the one smiling more because you got a bigger contract in the NBA. It doesn't mean if Landers Nolley only is able to bring in $20,000 NIL, and then all of a sudden, I'm just throwing out numbers, Jalen Duren makes $500,000. It doesn't mean that he won't be a better NBA player and have a better year this year to put him in position to get drafted higher, things of that nature. You have to go in there and you have to compete. And you're right. That's what Penny said to us yesterday. It's all about the competition. And those that are having issues because somebody makes more money or they're getting this much playing time or they're starting, then you're going to be left behind.
Another text says, I can't help but worry about the penalties that loom over us. I just wonder what would be the worst penalty we would get. Would they keep us out of the NCAA for a year? I'm just wondering about that. Well,
We're all
obviously,
wondering.
that would be the ultimate gut punch if all of a sudden, midway through the year, there was a penalty handed down with a postseason ban. But
let's not worry about that right now. Sure, it's a black cloud that's certainly hovering above the university, but I'm not allowing myself to think about that. It would be the ultimate gut punch. It would, Eli. But right now, you just have to look at the positives that are happening right now with this university, with this program, with the news about Duren, and maybe that news with Imani Bates. But hopefully, and again, the whole deal with the IARP is a little bit confusing too. When an announcement could come on the specific case with the University of Memphis, we don't know. Could there be something before the season, during, or after? It's anybody's guess. One thing we're not guessing about is our great first hour sponsor with Action 24/7. We can't thank them enough for being a part of our program.
That's right. Action 24/7 is the local sports book here in the state of Tennessee. And they've got always with new customers, when you initially sign up and make your first deposit, if you use the promo code WHBQ100, they will match that first deposit 100% up to $400. Make sure you use all capitals in the WHBQ. But so immediately they will double that first deposit for you. Plus, right now, they've got a special deal for new customers. If you bet $5 on any NFL preseason game, you'll win $150 if there's a touchdown scored. So they're just handing out free money right now when you sign up with Action 24/7. And of course, we are inside of a month now, the real football being played. So you want to take advantage of this free money and be ready to go for the season. Get signed up with Action 24/7. You can go to the website at action247.com or just download the app to your phone and make it very convenient right there in the palm of your hand with the local sports book here in the state of Tennessee, Action 24/7.
We'll get to the Grizzlies a little bit later on in the show, and as I mentioned, Drew Hill will join us at 12:05, but we did just receive word that Yves Pons, the former Tennessee Vol big man, has signed a deal with the Grizzlies. It is believed to be an Exhibit 10 deal, which is the same deal that Weems has, the undrafted player from DePaul currently. Is there a limit to how many Exhibit 10 contracts you can have on a team?
Yeah, they may have. There was 4. I think they might have bumped that up a couple years ago to more than that. I think maybe 6, but I don't. It might still be at 4. But all that is guys who will play for the hustle. They just get to make more money than a regular G League player. So it is not they will be in camp with the Grizzlies. They then get cut. If they go to the hustle, they can make more money than the regular G League players.
All right, Grizzlies talk later, but when we return, it's all about college football. Connor O'Gara is next. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sports Time with Wallo and Stats. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
Napa know-how.
Right now, a 5-quart jug of Napa full synthetic motor oil is just $18.99. It keeps your engine from breaking down without breaking the bank. Yep, a 5-quart jug of Napa full synthetic for $18.99 is not just a great deal. It's the break you've been waiting for. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating locations does not include state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Advertised sales price may not be available in some states. Offer ends 8/31/21.
Regions Bank presents Brad Paisley live at the Garden Friday night, August 13th at Radiance Amphitheater at Memphis Botanic Garden. Gates open at 6, show starts at 7:30 p.m. with special guests Jimmy Allen and Cameron Marlowe. Tickets are on sale now through Ticketmaster.com. Go to liveatthegarden.com for more information. Also presented by Duncan Williams, AutoZone, Gossett Motors, True Green, Pro Show, and Mahaffey Events.
If you're going on vacation, making a college campus visit, or if business takes you out of town, there's just no better place to board your dog than Barks and Recreation, 965 Reddick Cove between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Boarding, daycare, grooming, we have the best of everything at Barks. Indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please. Indoor and outdoor play areas. 4 walks a day. group play, and individual attention from the best staff in the Mid-South, which includes an overnight staff to ensure the safety and comfort of your pet 24 hours a day. All reasons to choose Barks and Recreation above all other boarding and daycare facilities. BarksDaycare.com or 509-0909. Check us out and make your reservations now at BarksDaycare.com. If your dog could speak, he'd say Barks.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 10:28 the time. Hour number one here on Sports 56 Middays. After a week of not having our friend Connor O'Gara, he is back. It's time for Connor O'Gara.
It's time to talk some SEC and college football on Sports 56 Middays. Joining Greg and Eli is Connor O'Gara from SaturdayDownSouth.com. Now, here's Connor with Greg and Eli.
The national senior columnist for Saturday Down South and Saturday Tradition. He is Connor O'Gara on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. He joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. We missed you last week. Hope you had a great week. And we're getting closer, my friend. As you know, camp's opening up and real football just around the corner. How are you?
I'm doing well, guys. It was good to be able to take kind of one last trip, out to the west, hang out with my buddies in Colorado. Got to do the whole Denver experience. But I'm ready to talk ball, man. It feels like this whole offseason has been NIL, 12-team playoff, expansion, realignment. And it's good just to be getting back into, like, the cliche quarterback battles and talking about whether or not this guy's going to have a breakout year or that guy's going to have a breakout year. This is what we as college football fans need in the month of August.
How much of the injury to Miles Brennan will derail LSU? I know Johnson's ready and waiting in the wings as the number one now, but does that hurt maybe your prognosis on what you think LSU can do to try to bounce back this season?
I think two things can be true at the same time. I was not and am still not selling my Miles Brennan stock. I was a Miles Brennan believer. I thought that he came to camp with the exact right attitude. I thought he had a pretty good shot to win that starting job. I also do not think that LSU is going to be worse by having Max Johnson in the starting lineup, but I think he's going to be a star. I think that what he has been able to do in a limited sample size really projects well with what Jake Peetz is going to try and do with the RPOs. And I know that Max Johnson hasn't run a ton of that, but his skill set is really conducive for that system. And I think that you're going to be able to do everything you want in an offense with him. He can stretch the field and beat you deep. He can work between the hashes. He can tuck it and run when teams drop 8 or something like that. If you want to do those design quarterback draws, he can do that as well. I think that LSU still has all the makings of a team that can come back and have one of those New Year's Six Bowl type of seasons with Max Johnson as a starter. They love him there. They absolutely love him. He is the cliche first guy in, last guy out. He has been a guy that has really grown on a lot of those players over the course of the last year. And I think that if you're an LSU fan, you're very grateful that he got those last 2 games of experience, because while LSU was still really close to losing both of those games that he started, you can't help but applaud what he was able to do. So I think LSU is going to be just fine with Max Johnson.
Well, first of all, Connor, when you were out at the Rockies game, you weren't yelling at their mascot to try and get a picture, were you, by chance?
No, I decided at this point in my life, 31 years old, I think that there are things that I need to prioritize more, like, having a couple of adult beverages at a game and not yet necessarily yelling at the mascot. So I took a pass on that.
Well, that's good. I didn't want you to be misunderstood like the other gentleman that did that. Coaches poll comes out in about a half hour. How many SEC teams in the top 25?
Oh, you're going to make me do math right now? I got to add all that up? Gosh.
Well, we know some of them were obvious. Some of them board. Will Ole Miss crack the top 25?
Yeah, Ole Miss should crack the top 25, I would think. They should be probably somewhere in that 22-25 range, just because I think what we saw last year, and especially the Outback Bowl, with what they were able to do, winning that game a different sort of way against an Indiana team that a lot of people felt should have been in a New Year's Six Bowl. I think with what they return on offense, you can't not put Ole Miss in your top 25, even if you think the defense is still very much a work in progress. But I think they'll be in there. I think that you'll probably still see LSU, Florida. You're going to see Georgia. You're going to see Alabama. You're going to see Texas A&M. What is that? That's six right there. So, yeah, I don't think you're going to see Kentucky crack the top 25. I don't think you're going to see Mizzou crack the top 25. I don't think so. And that's going to feel a little bit weird, but I think they might just miss out because I think there are a lot of people skeptical about Brian Harsin and how this is all going to work, maybe more so long-term than short-term because of some of the recruiting that's going to take to get Auburn to that level where they're not falling behind the Georgias and Floridas of the world. But, I think that Auburn's in for a tough year. I haven't done my crystal ball projections just yet, but I think there's a really good chance that Auburn finishes last in the SEC West. The SEC West is good, and it's just you look around and you're like, oh, that team's going to improve. That team's going to improve. That team's going to be better. And then you're kind of left wondering, well, somebody has to get worse.
Somebody has to lose.
Right?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to lose these games. And I think Auburn is that team. I just think that they're going to put too much pressure on their offense. I think that it's going to be really, really difficult for them to be able to establish the passing game. I don't have any faith in Bo Nix, especially in these road games, of which he has many in the first part of the season. So I think that Auburn is just going to have an uphill climb throughout this whole year.
So with Alabama, obviously the whole reload thing, and there's truth to that. They did lose a ton. They got a young quarterback who's making a lot of money, who's now going to be the starter. But do you see any chance for a hiccup?
In the first half of the year, I don't think Alabama gets through unscathed.
Really?
And one of the two things that I think I think one of these two things will happen. Either one, Nick Saban is going to lose to one of his disciples for the first time, or he will lose to an SEC East team for the first time since Steven Garcia shocked the world back in 2010. Now, what I don't think gets a lot of credit is that game, that very famous day in Columbia, the hottest place on earth, as many people know it as, that was also the last time that Nick Saban lost to a team outside of the top 15. I mean, that is just an unbelievable thing to think of. That's 11 years ago that we're talking about. I don't think that he's going to necessarily lose to a team outside of the top 15, but look at all these games that they have in the first half of the schedule that can trip them up. The Miami game, if they get De'Aaron King back in the opener, I'm not betting against Saban in an opener, but that's still a really tough game that could be 60 minutes. Then you also have your road trip to Florida in what's going to be the Swamp, absolutely packed for that game, and probably the first SEC game at full capacity in the Swamp since 2019. Oh, by the way, you've got to go to Texas A&M October 9th, a game that's going to have so much buildup because of the preseason comments from Jimbo Fisher about beating Saban, you-know-what, Saban saying in golf. That game is going to be awesome and worth the price of admission. I think A&M is finally built to be able to go 60 minutes with Alabama. Then you get Ole Miss as well. We know how well they played against the Tide last year. So I just think the first half is brutal. I think this is the toughest first half schedule that Nick Saban has had, maybe with the exception of 2010 with that streak coming into that South Carolina game.
There is a lot of people that like Missouri kind of as that little sleeper team, I guess. Do you like Missouri or Kentucky better?
Kentucky, but slightly. And I think there are going to be moments in which it goes back and forth. And maybe that's even in the head-to-head where Mizzou gets the better of Kentucky. I'll take Kentucky because I think the defense is going to be really good. I think the front seven is set up well. I like the fact that they have experience that I don't think they necessarily had last year. I think they have a lot of proven veterans. I love the Josh Paschal story and what he means to that group. And I think that they're going to be really strong this year. But the offense is to me, the big question. How many of these moments is Kentucky going to have where you're reminded that they don't have the personnel at receiver to run an offense with more balance, to have more of a passing game presence? That's what Liam Cohen wants. That's what he's bringing over from the Los Angeles Rams with Sean McVay. And Wan'Dale Robinson's going to be fun. If there are people who don't know that name yet, the former Nebraska star, they're going to get to know it this year. He might be like what Rondale Moore was at Purdue. And then I think with Chris Rodriguez, who I put as a first-team All-SEC running back this year, I think Kentucky has some firepower. It's just limited. They don't have the depth just yet. So I'll give Kentucky the slight edge over Mizzou, though. I think Eli Drinkowitz is such an intriguing head coach. I love the attitude that he's brought into this conference. And I think it's all dependent on if they can establish that ground game to allow Connor Bazelak to operate in the ways that he wants to, which is mostly in that 11 to 20-yard range.
Well, on the national scene, Connor, other than the regulars, Clemson, Oklahoma, Ohio State, who do you see being a factor?
Cincinnati. I have Cincinnati going to the playoff this year. And I think I've said that before. I think I might have said that before on these airwaves, but I'm a believer. I am a believer, and I'm not even the craziest Desmond Ridder guy. I think that he still has some room to improve this year, and I think that he'll get tested at times, but I think that just the pieces around him are really good. And I was so impressed with what they did against Georgia. And now you bring back, Amai Sanders, you bring back Sauce Gardner, who's one of the top probably 3 or 4 corners in all of college football. And with Luke Fickell, they're still controlling that program. I know they lose Marcus Freeman. That's a big loss, the defensive coordinator who went to Notre Dame. Cincinnati has a path to the playoff. They go to Indiana, and they go to Notre Dame. If Cincinnati, who starts off probably in the top 10, or if not, they're going to be at like 11 or 12, if they do that and they have those 2 games against those teams, the path is there. And it's not going to be talked about because we're just assuming group of 5 teams can't make the playoff. But if they win that game against Indiana, which I will not rule out even as an Indiana grad, I think that is absolutely a possibility because I'm not sold on Jack Cohn, the new starter at Notre Dame, who came in from Wisconsin. So I think that Cincinnati has a path to the playoff if it goes undefeated. But they could shake things up and be the storyline that people are talking about a lot more midseason.
So you would have, the Pac-12 and Big 12 both missing out?
No, I have Oklahoma in the playoff. I have Cincinnati in the playoff. I have Georgia and Clemson. So I would have
no Big Ten team.
I have the Big Ten getting left out. And
he also has Alabama out of it.
Right.
How about that prediction?
Yeah, I mean, that feels weird. I think that's the first time I've not had Alabama in the playoff. And I think that part of it is just because I just think that Georgia finally has all the pieces in place this year. Like, if it's not now, then when, really? Because now you finally have the style from an offensive standpoint to be able to hang with these teams. I go back to that 2019 SEC championship where Kirby Smart is watching this LSU team who went through this transformation on the offensive side of the ball after years of frustrating offensive play, finally take that next step and look like a juggernaut. And that was a game where LSU was only favored by 7 points, and they blew Georgia out of the water. It wasn't even close. And I think that you go back to that is kind of the turning point for Georgia with this offense to bring in Todd Monken, who now with JT Daniels is going to be able to execute that. So, yeah, as of right now, I have a rematch of the Week 1 showdown, Clemson-Georgia, as my national championship prediction. That might be a little bit boring, a little bit basic, but that's kind of the way I see it playing out right now.
But I assume you have Bama and Georgia in the SEC championship game, obviously Georgia winning to get into the playoff.
Correct. I think the SEC West is going to follow a very 2014-like path where once Bama loses in the regular season, it feels like everything is chaos, right? Like the entire sports world blows up, and it's like, oh, Ole Miss has a chance. Mississippi State has a chance. And we freak out about it. And ultimately, Bama is still probably going to end up winning the division and having a path to the playoff. Maybe that means, Bama loses to A&M, but then A&M loses 2 games in conference play, which is a very realistic possibility. Something like that could happen this year, in which Alabama gets to the SEC championship with 1 loss and then loses to Georgia. Georgia finally gets over the hump and beats Alabama en route to the playoff.
So who do you think wins that Georgia-Clemson game, that first, the opener?
So that's the weird thing is I think Clemson wins. I think Clemson, after what they went through in the playoff last year, getting embarrassed by Justin Fields, I keep thinking that Clemson is going to feel like 2018 all over again, where Brent Venables had a defensive line that should have all just been in the NFL. They really should have. That was not a fair defensive line to have. It ended up being one of the great college football teams of the 21st century was that 2018 Clemson team. And I think that this year has a really similar feel to it. I just think that this defense is going to be on a mission from the jump. And I know that they lost a couple of key pieces they'd love to still have Mike Jones, Darian Kendrick, who are now in the SEC. But I just think that Brent Venables, when he has an experienced group to work with, that's a dangerous, dangerous thing for the rest of college football. And then I'm a DJ Uiagalelei believer, and I can also pronounce his name.
Wow,
I'm going to be able to do that throughout the entire year. So I think that Clemson has the firepower this year. As boring as it is to say that Clemson is the best team in college football, I think they'll show that in the opener, and I think they have just a slight edge against Georgia.
Hey, nothing boring about your picks, my friend. When you have Alabama outside the playoff and Cincinnati in the playoff, that's going out on a limb. All right, one final thing for you here. I know you just wrote on the website about the top 25 college football head coaches. We lost one of the greatest coaches to ever coach the college football game in Bobby Bowden. The question I brought up yesterday on the show is, I'll put you on the spot. There's a big difference, as you know, between great coaches, established coaches, all that, and legends, and absolute legends. What coaches who are still alive, whether they're still active or retired, are legends? And we came up with, Nick Saban, Steve Spurrier, Tom Osborne is still alive. Who else do we have, Eli, on that list? Urban Meyer as a legend. Who else would you throw on that list, Connor, if anybody? Is Lou Holtz a legend?
Yeah, he's probably considered, depending on who you ask. That's a tough one. Maybe Lou Holtz is the line for that question. If Dabo retired today, Dabo would be a legend. I just think that you still look at the playoff success, and when you win multiple national titles, he's got as many national titles as Bobby Bowden. Like that's an incredible thing to think of, and going to the national championship the way that he has during the playoff era, which is just not an easy thing to do. I think Dabo retired today, he would be considered a legend, but yeah, that number just continues to dwindle. I put Vince Dooley in that category as well.
Vince Dooley, that's right. He's still. How about Switzer? He sounds like he would be in that list, or not?
Switzer would probably be in that list. Yeah, sure. I think that getting Oklahoma to that level would qualify. What about like a Jimmy Johnson?
We brought that up, but I think Jimmy Johnson, who did win obviously a national championship with Miami, I think he is more known, like he would be a legendary coach, but I think a lot of it is because of what he did in the NFL.
True. Yeah, there's something to be said for that. Howard Schnellenberger was the guy who got Miami off the ground and allowed Jimmy Johnson to come in and do the things that he did. So he'd probably get the nod there, but it does kind of feel like the end of an era in a way without having some of these famous 20th century coaches still around. And I just don't know that, you look back on the careers of Dooley and Paterno and Bowden, and we're just talking about on the field stuff here, but none of those guys won a national title until year 17.
Wow.
That just doesn't happen anymore. And our expectations as college football fans, we're talking about billion-dollar TV contracts and $20 million buyouts. It's just different. It's just a different time. And it's kind of weird to think about all the sliding doors with Bobby Bowden's career and all the different chapters in which it could have gone one way or another. And instead it ends up just with one door, and with 44 years at Florida State and somebody who impacted so many lives throughout his time in Tallahassee.
Well said, my friend. You can read Connor O'Gara at Saturday Down South, Saturday Tradition. Read about his top 25 college football head coaches. He is their national senior columnist. You can follow him on Twitter at CJ O'Gara, and you can also listen to him every Tuesday. We're excited, even though I know he's probably hankering for a vacation down the road because he'll be working so hard. We'll get him every Tuesday talking college football during this time slot. Connor, thanks. Enjoy your week. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, guys.
Take care. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue is a great option for lunch. If you haven't had lunch yet, they have all types of great lunch specials or dinner. Pick up some Corky's Barbecue, bring it home for dinner, and I'm telling you, your family will be head over heels. A Memphis staple for over 30 years, voted the #1 barbecue restaurant in Memphis 22 times. Look, they have great ribs and pork shoulder, the pulled pork sandwiches, or the platters. Also, if it's beef you want to go with or chicken, amazing side. They got a great hamburger as well. I got a hamburger from there a couple weeks ago. It was delicious, but amazing sides. Their world-famous onion loaf, outstanding barbecue nachos. The chicken bites are delicious. Great desserts as well. 4 Mid-South locations, Poplar Avenue in East Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. You can dine in. You can carry out, have Corky's catering event.
Shop online, have Corky's deliver their delicious barbecue anywhere in the United States, and a Corky's gift card always makes a terrific gift. It's Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. You are listening to Sports 56 Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane comes your way every weekday morning from 7 till 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claim specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that PIN, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time. As simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish
is pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said now we speak Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Guns and Ammo has a full line of pro shot products, a tremendous selection of accessories from belts, holsters, gun cases, specialty boxes, Benchmade knives, and assorted optics. At Guns and Ammo, enjoy selecting all your favorite firearms, from hunting supplies to target shooting to self-defense. Experience the excellence at Guns and Ammo with a friendly, knowledgeable staff and hundreds of guns to choose from. Guns and Ammo, 3615 Summer Avenue, Memphis local, and supporting the NRA and Friends of the NRA. Guns and Ammo, family owned since 1985.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
You were talking to Connor about his vacation out in Colorado and the Rockies thing, and kind of, I know you weren't making light of it, but it's really sad, that whole story, and it's sad on a number of fronts. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about here, the Rockies were playing a baseball game against the Marlins, and the Marlins' Lewis Brinson was up at the plate, I think in the ninth inning, and he had heard what he thought was racial slurs, the N-word being.
He didn't hear him.
Well, there was
a microphone picked it up.
No, but let me finish. The microphone picked up what some people thought was the N-word. The broadcasters, some of the fans thought it was happening. Lewis Brinson today saying that he hears the slur after reviewing the video. But an investigation was done, and what was determined was that the person who was not identified was screaming at the mascot The mascot's name is Dinger, and was screaming Dinger, Dinger, because they wanted to get Dinger's attention to get a picture with Dinger. So it's sad on a number of levels, because I'm sure Brinson, in his mind, heard that. And I don't know the history of this guy's life, but maybe that has been said before and directed toward him. So now things are, well, you jump to a conclusion. But this was sad because it wasn't that. And in the end...
First of all, I was making light of it because I think this story is beyond ridiculous.
Well, again, if this guy is having, he's hearing these things because maybe these racial...
Well, he says he said, first of all, he didn't hear it during the game, and he went back and reviewed it. He said, I've never been called that to my face or on a baseball field before. And he hears it when he watches the video because he's probably got it in his head to hear it. But the idea that somebody would be sitting in the crowd yelling the N-word twice and no fans would react to it, like, it's just like the Rockies put out a statement like that they heard this thing on the microphone and that this person has not been identified. Well, he would have been identified immediately if he was actually yelling that, because there would have been people around him
you would
who
hope,
would have pointed him out.
You would
and
hope
if
so.
If you just watch the video, the guy is looking to the side and waving his arm while yelling. Like, there was never it amazes me that they actually thought that that's what he was just yelling.
Well, first of all, we're on pins and needles in this day and age, right? We're on the edge of our seats that somebody is always saying something and it's always derogatory and all that. But Lewis Brinson said, I watched the video at least 50 times in the past 15 and 16 hours and said on a video conference call, I heard them say the N-word. What, again, he perceived as the N-word. Dinger is not that far off.
I know, and when he goes to watch the video with it in his mind to listen for that, I can understand. If you want to hear it, you can hear it that way. But what I'm saying is when the guy was saying it, if he was actually saying the N-word, it's not, the fans would not have all just sat around and done nothing.
Well,
somebody would have pointed him out.
Okay, so let me see. Here's what it said. After an investigation that included calls, emails, and video clips from concerned fans, media, and broadcast partners. Are they talking about fans that were watching on television? They got to be talking about fans that were at the stadium. So these fans were concerned, but not enough to say something to that person. Not everybody will step up and say something to somebody who they know or they believe is doing something bad or derogatory.
There's no fan in the stands that's going to yell the N-word twice right behind home plate, and no fan's going to identify them.
I mean, what world do you live in? Number one, easily somebody can scream the N-word out.
And they will be identified.
And we'll continue to. They identified this person because of that.
No, they couldn't. They didn't have him identified at the end of the game. The Colorado Rockies put out a statement that we've heard this, and we have not. The person was not identified by the end of the game.
What I'm saying,
he would have been identified immediately by fans.
You would hope. You would hope so.
It's a ridiculous story. The guy clearly wasn't saying
sometimes
it. Sometimes
people,
it's people going. It's the way too sensitive world we live in.
I know that.
Like, you can look at the video and tell he's looking to the side and waving his arm.
I'm saying that you just assume everybody will step up and do the right thing.
No, I don't think everybody would, but I assume somebody would in a crowd at a baseball game if a guy yelled the N-word twice that loud.
I didn't see the video. Was there a lot of people in that area? I mean, it's ninth inning. It's ninth inning. It's ninth inning. A lot of people may have left. There's also people that are unwilling to get involved. There are people who are unwilling. I think it was bad on a number of fronts. The accusations were quick to accuse. Number one. Number two, that this guy has that ringing in his ear, even though it's not the word that was used. Three, that again, luckily that person
he didn't hear it when he was at the plate.
I'm talking about even now when he's looking at the video, Eli, that the guy has in his mind that he's saying it when he knows probably good and well that he's not saying it because an investigation was done and everybody knows that he didn't say that. It's a sad state of affairs. The quick accusation. Again, the guy who thinks that he's saying that. And the person, luckily, that person wasn't pinpointed because that person, if they threw out there and showed the video of the person, oh, I know that guy, then all of a sudden he gets the bad rap that he did something wrong when we know that he did not do anything wrong. It's just, yes, we are all sensitive. We take the negative over the, like we think that it's always something that is going to be bad rather than the alternative. And in this case, trying to get the attention of the mascot. That's not good. It's not good on many, many fronts.
And I will guess that the Colorado Rockies will change the name of their mascot because of this, which is ridiculous.
You think they will?
Yes.
I hope not.
You say everybody's so sensitive, but you think no fan would have identified the guy.
No,
that doesn't make sense.
I'm not saying no fan, but I'm reading again from the release that said video clips. After investigation that included calls, emails, and video clips from concerned fans, media, and broadcast partners.
Yes.
So
probably fans that heard it on TV.
Okay, do we know that for sure?
Because, again, none of the fans reacted, obviously.
But maybe they waited, and then they went and they told security. And because there are a lot of people that don't want to get involved. They don't want to get into a fight. They don't want to get into an altercation. I don't know how many people are left in the ninth inning that haven't already left.
Maybe they were all just real. They could see him yelling at the mascot and knew that he wasn't saying it, so nobody did anything because he wasn't saying it.
I'm sure that was part of it as well. But you had the broadcasters as well thinking that. Because they think the negative thing. They think the bad thing
just
first.
Hear. They didn't look. They weren't around the situation. Seeing the guy waving at the mascot while yelling his name.
All right. Hour one in the books. Coming up in hour number two, we will be busy. We'll be talking Grizzlies. We got Major League Baseball to get into, a wild one between the Yankees and the Royals. And speaking of baseball, the former National League Most Valuable Player and World Series champion Jimmy Rollins joins us at 11:30. At 12:05, Drew Hill will join us. But first things first, when we return, it's Humdinger's Trivia. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. When I talk to people about selling their homes or buying one, my motto is stick to your game plan. I learned this from my friend Coach Terry Tippett. Coach, you didn't go into a game without having a plan, did you?
No, Sheldon. Having a plan was critical to the success of all my teams.
That's right, Coach. Sticking to your game plan helped you win 4 state championships.
That's wrong, Sheldon. It was 6, just like the number of shots you make on a par 3.
Well, Coach, we've played golf together. What advice can you give me about my game?
You probably need to stick to real estate, as you're much better at doing that. Or perhaps bowling.
Great advice about real estate, not bowling. And as I always tell people, if they're thinking of selling their home, talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers and let me be one of them. As they often say, when you want the job done, Coach, who should they call?
Sheldon, of course.
You can reach me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com.
Napa know-how.
Right now, a 5-quart jug of Napa full synthetic motor oil is just $18.99. It keeps your engine from breaking down without breaking the bank. Yep, a 5-quart jug of Napa full synthetic for $18.99 is not just a great deal. It's the break you've been waiting for. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating locations does not include state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Advertised sales price may not be available in some states. Offer ends 8/31/21.
It's hot outside and your air conditioner just quit. Quick, who do you call? Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, of course, with 24-hour emergency service available. Automatic understands your house is unique, so they work fast to find the right solution for your family's comfort and budget needs. And with financing available and payments as low as $75 a month, it's never been easier to make your home comfortable. Call 363-4636 or go online to itsautomatic.com. Turn to the experts at Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing.
I'm Dr. George Flynn, Chairman of the Board of Flynn Broadcasting. Other stations might consider you to be a listener. I don't, and we don't. You are a family member, and I want the best for you and your family. So please get vaccinated against COVID. It saves hospitalizations and can save your life. I've had 3 rounds of vaccines on clinical trials with no side effects other than maybe a sore arm for 24 hours. I want to protect you, my family, and would never suggest something that might harm you. Please get vaccinated and feel safe in knowing you've done your part to beat COVID-19. I care about you, so please get vaccinated. All of us at Flynn Broadcasting want to keep you healthy, so please get vaccinated.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
We all know in our minds that there ought to be a time that we can set aside to show just how much we love you. And I'm sure you would agree, what could fit more perfectly than to have a world party on the day you came to be. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Is it Zach's birthday?
No, it's not.
No. Is it Eli's birthday? No, it's not. Is it my birthday? Nope. Whose birthday are we celebrating today? How about Ja Morant? Today, young Ja turns 22 years of age. He's actually out there with the Grizzlies at Summer League watching his teammates, some will not be teammates. Dylan Brooks is out there as well. We'll talk plenty of Grizzlies coming up here in just a few moments. As I mentioned at the start of the show, Drew Hill will join us at 12:05. But coming up in about 25 minutes or so, it is Jimmy Rollins, the former Major League Baseball All-Star shortstop. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy with you, along with Zach Boyd, who's in for Gabe Kuhn this week, producing the program. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Second hour of the program is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. We'll talk more about James Gaddis Jewelers in just a few moments. But it's Tuesday. It's time for Humdinger's Trivia.
That's right. So we do it each and every Tuesday. It's an opportunity to win a $25 gift certificate to Humdingers. And that is Humdingers, just to make sure everybody's clear on that. You can win a $25 gift certificate if you are the first to answer today's question correctly via the AutoZone text line at 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. Of course, Humdingers, it is Tuesday. That means it's Taco Tuesday. That means it's $2 for chicken and fish tacos all day long on Tuesday. On Fridays, $7.95 all day for their crispy fish and chips. They got, of course, all kinds of other great items on the menu. The great grilled fish options, all kinds of different fish, all kinds of different toppings, great sides. They've got salads, sandwiches, so many different things for you to choose from. Many of them very healthy, very inexpensive stuff. If you need catering, they can do that for you as well. Just go check them out. They're at Poplar and Massey in the shopping center there, and you can get some great food, lunch, dinner, whatever it is. The folks at Humdingers will take care of you. Here is today's question. It deals with the NBA Summer League, which I'm a huge fan of. I think you can judge every player by their Summer League performance always. The Grizzlies have had two guys named as Summer League MVPs while playing for them. Which two Grizzlies were named Summer League MVP? 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. The first correct answer via text will get the $25 gift certificate to Humdingers. The two Grizzlies that have been winners of the coveted and prestigious Summer League MVP award.
I can't believe they hand that out, which is amazing. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But yesterday we were at the Doug Barron Courage Through Cancer golf event out at Spring Creek Ranch. I did want to mention this. There's another big event coming up 2 weeks from yesterday, so 2 Mondays from now. It's August 23rd. It'll be at TPC Southwind. It's an event called Links for Lungs. It is a two-man scramble golf event with all the proceeds going to lung cancer research. Our friends Greg and Gina Hollenbeck. Gina was diagnosed at 38 years old. She had never smoked and was not given a lot of time to live, and she has surpassed that with flying colors, and she continues the battle, but doing very well. And for more information and to sign up to play, it's linksforlungsmemphis.org. Linksforlungsmemphis.org. Again, on the 23rd at TPC Southwind, a very unique two-man scramble event with a noon tee-off.
All right, it did not take long. We have a correct answer. We have a few correct answers, but there was one that was before everybody else on the Summer League MVPs by the Grizzlies. It's actually interesting when you look at past Summer League MVPs and the ties to the Grizzlies. But the two guys who were named Summer League MVP while playing for the Grizzlies were...
Well, it had to be last year, right? They won it last year. So
2 years ago.
Oh, it's two years ago that they won.
There wasn't one last year.
That's right. So 2 years ago, was it Ja?
Nope.
Oh, I know this answer.
Go ahead.
That's Brandon Clark.
Brandon Clark is one of the two Grizzlies
that's
that
right.
have won
He was fantastic.
And
Summer League MVP.
And the other one is Josh Selby.
Josh Selby, indeed. How soon could we forget the great Josh Selby?
Where have you gone, Josh Selby?
Back in 2012, Josh Selby named a Summer League MVP. Here's what's crazy.
Well, Desmond Bain may be on his way to make it a threesome for the Grizzlies.
Well, the Grizzlies really love Summer League MVPs. They are a huge fan. Last year's team alone featured 4 former Summer League MVPs.
Wow.
Jonas was once a Summer League MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Anderson, Summer League MVP.
Slow-mo.
Tyus Jones, Summer League MVP. And, of course, Brandon Clark, Summer League MVP. So they had 4 Summer League MVPs on the roster last year. The Josh Selby one, it's actually, and by the way, Jared Bayless, another former Grizzly who was a Summer League MVP. The Josh Selby win is funny because if you look at the run of guys that that were winning Summer League MVPs, it went Blake Griffin, John Wall, Damian Lillard, Josh Selby.
Whatever happened to the first 3? Jeez.
And then right after that it was Jonas. What a weird.
You never know.
Group of guys that all have one thing in common. They were Summer League MVPs.
Where is Selby now? He's got to be playing professionally somewhere, I think.
Don't know where Josh Selby is these days. Hopefully he needs
our crack staff, which means Zach will look
get
that
on
up,
a Summer
I'm sure.
League roster every year. Just continue to, maybe he could be like a 5-time Summer League MVP or something like that. Like keep adding MVP trophies from the Summer League if he can.
Last time he played was in the NBL out in Australia.
There
for
you
the
go.
Franklin Bulls.
What year?
Last year.
Okay, so yeah, he is active, and I would have guessed he was down under. I don't know why. He's with the Kangaroos and the Wallabies, and good for Josh.
Boy, I remember Chris.
I'm sure he's making a good
I remember
living.
Chris Wallace selling that pick about how great they thought Josh Selby. I think they had him ranked as a first rounder, like top 20 guy or something. They couldn't believe he fell because they took him at in the mid 40s or something. What draft pick was he? Do you have his thing up? What draft pick was he? Like 40 something?
Well, anybody from Kansas, Chris Wallace liked.
But they just raved about.
Born in Kansas, went to the University of Kansas.
Picked 49 in the 2011 draft.
And I think they said they just said he was one I think they just had ranked as a first rounder.
Yeah.
It was Jamal Franklin, I think, that they had as a top 20 player or something, and he was going to be great as well.
Yeah, because this was the year that they didn't have a first round pick, and they just kind of sat there and took him at 49 when they traded that first round pick away for Ronnie Brewer.
I guess, lo and behold, a first rounder fell right in their laps, and then boy oh boy. Didn't he turn out to be a first-round
Yeah, don't
type
bring that
talent?
up, right? Yeah, technically, I guess Kansas University, not University of Kansas, right? Kansas University. But, yeah, Chris Wallace always loved those Kansas players. So, anyway, last night, if you're scoring at home, Desmond Bain, 32 points, 6 of 8 threes. He's a beast. That pick of Desmond Bain last year is just a great pick. We knew he was going to be good because he had a really good first year, and he's going to be a bigger part of this team as things move along, as years go by. Desmond Bain is going to be a really good player in the NBA. Xavier Tillman had a real nice game, 15 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks, 7 assists. I mean, Tillman's an all-around good, solid rotation player. He showed that last year. I think he had a little burnout late in the season, but he's good. We know what these guys can do. I want to see more of the other guys, but it was let me start with Santi Aldama. It was not a good debut. 14 minutes. He was 1 of 7 from the field, 2 rebounds, 4 points. And this guy, and it's obvious, has a long way to go. Of course, he comes from Loyola of Maryland, but via Spain. They took a shot with him. And Zaire Williams, the 10th overall pick, taking that shot because of the possibility of the high ceiling with the way he was regarded coming out of high school, playing out there in, was it Sierra Canyon?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He had last night, or yesterday afternoon, 23 minutes, 7 points, 3 of 7 from the field, 2 rebounds, 0 of 2 from 3. You can see the athleticism, a tall guy who can move pretty darn well, has pretty decent handles. What's his name on the broadcast? Jones? With
Mark Jones.
Mark Jones, yeah, with Doris Burke, kept trying to find something wrong with his shot. Like, he kept seeing something that was wrong, but every time they showed the slow motion shot, it looked like a nice rotation, but he wasn't making anything. Missed a driving layup. That guy has to put on some weight. He has to get bigger and stronger. But I could see why they like him because of the upside with the athleticism. I mean, he's a gazelle, gets up and down the court. He's on the floor. He's defending really hard and well. I thought it was okay, but man, there's going to be another guy who can't shoot. Those numbers from Stanford would tell you that. But it's one game. Like you said, it's one game. You can't judge on one game. But I know Santi.
And it's Summer League.
But Santi Aldama, he needs to pick it up because he didn't look like he belonged in the Summer League in that first game. But one game will not determine a career. They like something about him. That's why they moved into that position to take him. Killian Tilly looked nice. 20 points, 6 of 10 from 3. His three-point shot is real nice. Now, he is a free agent. He was on the roster, obviously, last year. So where do we stand as far – and Drew Hill will give us more of this information when he joins us at 12:05. But we have the Yves Pons news today, which appears it'll be an Exhibit 10. Weems is an Exhibit 10. McDermott is still under a 2-year, two-way deal, with his second year being this year. And that leaves one other two-way, I believe. And then – is that correct?
Yeah, they could have two ways.
And as far as the 15-man, how many are under contract right now?
Well,
they have 15 under contract.
Is it 15 with Merrill, who
yes.
I saw the news that they're going to pick up his option, but it's not news from the Grizzlies. That was just a report out there. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. And that would leave one more spot.
Right now they're sitting at 15 with McDermott holding the other two-way.
Well, I like Tilly.
15 counting Tilly, or I'm only seeing 15 with Tilly.
I didn't count. I don't think I counted Tilly because he wasn't signed. Even though they put a qualifying offer on for him.
Well, they did that so to make him a restricted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Hold on. All right, you got Xavier Tillman, Zaire Williams.
Okay.
John Morant, DeAnthony Melton, John Conchar, Brandon Clark, Jaren Jackson Jr., Tyus Jones, Dylan Brooks, Eric Bledsoe, Desmond Bain, Steven Adams, Santi Aldama, Kyle Anderson, Sam Merrill. How many is that?
That's 15. That's assuming they pick up his option for the rest of the year, which was reported, but I don't think that information has not been released from the Grizzlies yet. If it happened, if he's part of it, that's 15 under contract. You still have a two-way.
But his option, what?
Like, they could just release the guy, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, they could release him, but he's got to have a contract. They just traded for him. Like, he has to have a contract right now. They couldn't trade a free agent.
Right. That's true. That's true.
He has to have a current contract. Now, it may not be guaranteed, so they may not be on the hook for anything. So
that may be it.
But there's not an option. There can't be an option for the season. He has to be under contract right now.
Yeah, I'm probably using the wrong terminology. I think it's to guarantee his deal to be a part of the 15. They could release him. See, I think that, and I don't know much about the guy. I mean, I know he spent some time, like you said, with the Hustle last year, even though he wasn't with the Grizzlies per se. But I don't know a lot about the guy. I know I like Tilly.
He's got a championship ring. He brings up championship pedigree.
Where'd he play?
He was with the Bucks last year.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Was he a two-way guy?
He doesn't have a ring yet. He will get a ring.
Was he a two-way guy, or was he?
No.
He was a 15. You remember the 15?
Yes, he was on the Bucks.
I just don't even. I can't even picture the guy. So Tilly, with his size and length and ability to shoot the three, I like him a lot. So we'll see what happens with that decision. But if it is Merrill part of the 15-man, then the only way to keep Tilly would be to give him another a two-way.
Well, we still don't know what they're going to do with Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe may not be a part of it.
I'm again assuming right now the roster that they have. Obviously, there's the chance of trades or even a buyout, which is a large buyout, which I don't believe that will happen with Bledsoe. Other news from the NBA. Our buddy Chris Chiozza, the former White Station Spartan, has signed a one-year deal with the Warriors, but it is a two-way deal. So he gets the two-way contract with the Golden State Warriors. Chiozza last year was with the Brooklyn Nets. And Luka Doncic and the Mavericks have come together for a Supermax extension for the Slovenian. 5 years, $207 million. Good money if you could find it. If you have that opportunity, I suggest you jump all over a 5-year, $207 million contract in whatever walk of life, whatever your profession may be. That's a good deal. Don't turn down that one. That is pretty darn good.
So the coaches poll is out. Mentioned earlier with Connor that it was coming out. And big shock here. You may be surprised to find out that Alabama is 1 and Clemson is 2.
Get out of here.
And Oklahoma is 3. And Ohio State is 4.
No way.
Georgia is 5.
Okay.
Texas A&M is 6. Notre Dame is 7. Iowa State at number 8. That's, again, remarkable stuff by Matt Campbell. North Carolina, number 9. And the Cincinnati Bearcats do indeed crack the top 10. They start the season at number 10 in the coaches poll.
Yeah, Connor said 10, if not maybe 11, 12, but he was right on with that.
Florida, 11. Oregon, 12. LSU, 13. USC, 14. Wisconsin, 15. Miami, who will play Alabama to start the year, is at number 16. Indiana, one of those Cincinnati opponents, number 17. Iowa, 18. Texas at 19. Penn State at number 20. Washington, 21. Oklahoma State at 22. Louisiana Lafayette at number 23. Coastal Carolina at number 24.
Your favorite.
The Chanticleers. And at number 25, the Ole Miss Rebels.
Yeah, I had a feeling Ole Miss was going to get in. Ole Miss is obviously the potential for this year with Matt Corral. A lot of the other schools are basically what they did last year, and then if they lost anything, giving Coastal Carolina the benefit of the doubt, giving the Ragin' Cajuns the benefit of the doubt. They always vote in Washington. Washington always seems to, at least lately, disappoint. Wisconsin As I always say, they're always going to be top 15. Any surprises to you? How many SEC is that? 7 or 6?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6. And that's what we thought with Connor.
Auburn is 4th among others receiving votes.
Did Memphis get a vote?
Memphis did not get a vote.
Anybody else from the American? Assume UCF got some votes.
UCF got 29 votes. They're right behind Michigan. From the SEC, Kentucky got 20 votes. Let's see, Missouri got 8. Tulsa got 6 votes. Houston got 5. They got 5 points.
Right.
That could be 1 vote, theoretically. SMU got 4. Arkansas got 3. Mississippi State got 2.
Tigers will play Mississippi State.
That is it from the SEC or the American.
So 5 different schools from the American got points, with Cincinnati obviously being number 1. Memphis was picked 5th in the preseason poll, in the media poll for the American Conference. It was 5th, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here they would be the 6th. Well, we don't even know. They didn't get 1 point, so we don't know if they'd even have Memphis ahead of everybody else. You'd figure they would. So, again, bulletin board material for the Tigers, but no surprise at the top with the blue bloods of college football back there. A lot of respect for USC, and I hope it's a good year for our good buddy Clay Helton, and I think it could be when you have the quarterback that they have, Slovis. Can't wait. Game's right around the corner. James Gaddis Jewelers, second hour sponsor of Sports 56 Middays, located at 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Elmo in the heart of East Memphis. On the web at gaddisjewelers.com. You can give them a call at 901-767-9648. They can customize jewelry. They can make it to your specifications. And if you like, they can provide a free 3D rendering of what it will look like in just a couple of days. The computers can do amazing things these days. They will buy your gold and silver. Gold continues to be on fire. You can bring in your outdated jewelry for a whole new look. Make a brand new piece of jewelry from your family heirlooms. They can do all that. Plus, they are your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters. James is a master jeweler, certified appraiser, diamondologist, and graded by the Gemologist Institute of America. He knows what he's doing. They know what they're doing. Certainly more than qualified. They know there's a lot of competition out there, so they have a price point to suit everyone's budget. When you're looking for that special engagement ring or any jewelry, watches, fine gemstones, gold and silver, all that stuff, it's James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Elmo, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Call them and tell them you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays, 901-767-9648.
By the way, and I'm surprised you didn't know this, I got a text from a friend that said Josh Selby played for the Tennessee team, the Volunteers, in the basketball tournament this year.
I did not know that.
You're Mr. TBT. I thought you'd have seen that.
Well, I did look up a lot of the rosters on a lot of the teams, so I must have overlooked them with Josh Selby.
There's one of 2 guys, I think, on the team that weren't from Tennessee, weren't Tennessee players.
I did not know that. I do know this, though. Jimmy Rollins, the former National League Most Valuable Player, joins us next. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Grab a seat with Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour. Weekdays from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. With more people working from home these days and spending more time in the home, a lot of people are still running out of hot water. It may be time for a tankless water heater from Conway Services that never runs out of hot water. These energy-saving models only heat the water you use, saving you money on your gas bill every month. Conway Services is making now the perfect time to replace that old energy-guzzling tanked water heater with 12 months to pay, interest-free, or I'll give you $300 for that old tanked water heater. See why I say now is the perfect time? And no more worrying about that tank bursting in your attic either. Plus, with over 8,000 five-star reviews, you know Google guaranteed Conway Services will be providing that award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier tankless water heater professionals at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old water heater will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
With the help of Cheerios Oat Crunch Almond, I get everyone's morning started with a smile. It has a delicious and hearty combination of the Cheerios you love, whole grain oats, and sliced almonds for an extra crunchy crunch. That's how I set the rhythm for a great day. Look for Cheerios Oat Crunch Almond in your local grocery store.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you're looking for more out of your battery? We can help. If you're in need of higher performance, we'd go with Duralast Platinum. It's the best choice for premium power design for your vehicle. And the line now includes EFB and AGM technology, which means we've got the right Duralast Platinum battery for you. And they're only available here at AutoZone. That's why we're America's #1 battery destination. Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2020.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Anytime I get to talk to a former Philly, especially one as good as Jimmy Rollins, you know I am excited, being a Phillies fan since the late 60s. For those of you who don't know Jimmy Rollins, you must be living in a cave. 16-year Major League Baseball shortstop, 14 of those seasons with the Phillies, a 3-time All-Star, the 2007 National League Most Valuable Player, and, of course, a 2008 World Series champion with the Phillies. You can follow him on Twitter at Jimmy Rollins11. They call him J-Roll. He joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. J-Roll, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Of course, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Last week, you were in Memphis. You were at the Danny Thomas Pro-Am before the WGC kicked off. I know you love the game of golf, so how was it in Memphis and that beautiful golf course, Spring Creek Ranch?
It was absolutely fantastic. I enjoyed my time there. Of course, can't go to Memphis and not get some good eats, so I did that. I got to hang out with some of Memphis' finest and enjoyed the course. A great course to go play, and just had fun meeting, new people. My first time ever in Memphis, so it was something I was looking forward to when I got the call and they asked me to play in it.
How is the golf game?
Golf game is improving. Unfortunately, it's improving too fast. I can't use my handicap as I used to be able to when making bets. This is one of those things. Like, man, I mean, we all want our golf game to improve so we can go out there and not embarrass ourselves, but when it's improved as fast as mine have, it kind of hurts my chances of being in the money when I'm playing against better players.
I hear you.
So you were a switch hitter in baseball. What hand do you golf with?
I golf right-handed.
Okay.
Let's just say it doesn't translate very well. let's just put it at that. Although there would be times I could use a left-handed swing, getting stuck up on a tree or under some bushes, but it just Yeah, I've tried it, and it does not translate very well at all.
See, because I've always wondered, because like I was thinking about, because I'm a right-handed, but like literally, if I try to swing a golf club left-handed, like I don't even understand how to do it. Like my body doesn't even operate that way. So I was thinking, like maybe a switch hitter in baseball would be able to do it, but even that it doesn't work very well, huh?
No, I and along those same lines was the exact same way I was feeling. Like this should be simple. And then I grabbed I have a couple left-handed friends. I grabbed their clubs, and it was like my brain just needed to be rewired. It was like, and I was like, okay, well, just because I feel that way, it doesn't matter how I feel versus real. It doesn't matter if it feels wrong, if I can hit it. And I swung 3 times, and, in baseball, 3 strikes you're out. And I was like, you know what, you got to have this club back, and I'll stay to my natural side.
Yeah.
Although I did, when I was done playing baseball, consider taking up golf left-handed. That way I don't have any bad habits to start with.
There you go. There you go. I am always amazed when a right-hander or even a left-hander turns around the other way to hit a ball because they really don't have a shot, and they make a really nice shot. I'm already envious of those guys, and I'm more envious when they could do something like that. Now, do you just love playing the game, or are you a fan of the game watching golf?
Both. I think I became a fan long before I ever started playing, and it was a Tiger Woods effect for me. Being from the Bay Area, Tiger went to school at Stanford.
Right.
He was a kid, right around the corner from me, so it felt tangible. And, prior to that, I had plenty of opportunities to play golf. A lot of friends in high school had played golf. Jim, come play golf. Man, I'm not going to waste my time playing no darn golf. Are you crazy? Like, no, I'm not doing that. And then even when Tiger Woods, it's like, okay, I'll watch Tiger. I'm not playing any golf. And then growing up in Alameda, they had this Chuck Corker, which is like, I think, top 10 public courses in the country. They had a par 3. And I said, I'll try that just to give it a go. And you go to the range, and it's just like hitting a sweet spot on a baseball bat. It's something that just goes through your body. It's like, ooh, I got to do that again. And then you get addicted. And I wasn't playing, but I would go to the driving range just for that feeling, and then do the par 3 course because it was, 9 holes, par 3. Didn't take a lot of time. That was right up my alley. After that, I've been hooked.
It is funny. It's that one shot that keeps bringing you back, and it is it is an addicting game. There's no doubt. And so when you were playing, when you were playing baseball during your career, you weren't playing golf yet.
No, I did one time. This was my 3rd year. I'm feeling myself all-star my first 2 years, and Nike was making golf equipment, and we go on Nike trips, and they would send us free stuff. Hey, do you play golf? I was like, well, we send you free clubs, free gear, free balls. Yeah, I play golf.
The perks.
You sure right. You're darn right I do.
And so I did one, maybe half of the season during my 2003 year. And the funny thing is, golf is close enough to baseball, and the feel that you're hitting a golf ball and you're seeing a flight, in your mind, you start saying, I can do this with the baseball bat. And it doesn't translate, but, you convince yourself that you can do it until you just can't. So I did that in 2003, played for maybe like the first half of the season. Season wasn't going too well. And I vowed to not play baseball during the season ever, which I didn't. But I still received all the free stuff that Nike was saying. Do you play golf? Like I said, it's free. It's for me.
Take advantage of it. 2007 NL MVP and 2008 World Series champion Jimmy Rollins joining us on the program. 2,455 hits, 231 dingers, 470 stolen bases in an amazing career. And again, as a Phillies fan like I am, I'm from South Jersey. It was amazing to watch what you guys did in 2008. So that run of 7 with the MVP and 8 of the World Series championship, the memories that you must have from those couple of years just must be amazing.
Yeah, we did some special things, I think, for our group. Obviously, 2007 and 2008 was the biggest for us. But the 2007 year of finally, I guess was that 14 years, but like 15 seasons of the Phillies not making it to the playoffs since the 93 World Series, which they lost to the Toronto Blue Jays. We were able to alleviate that, just take that weight off our shoulders and give ourselves a chance, since 1980 to win the World Series. Now we got the doors blown off in 3 games by the Rockies, but they were beating everybody that year. Mm-hmm. But we felt like, okay, we finally did it. With everything that was going on, we finally did it, guys. And it didn't end the way we wanted it to. We were able to come back the next year, but 2007 just kind of opened our eyes to the reality that we can be a playoff perennial team and that we're just as good as we think we are.
As a guy who actually stole bases, hit triples, didn't strike out every other time up, and actually drew walks, what do you think of the state of today's game of baseball?
You have to take, it's like everything, you have to take everything in stride. And this is a different generation where they think about the game, where they approach the game. And there are some things I'm not a fan of. Just getting up there and, preaching launch angle. Launch angle has been a part of baseball since, its inception. You can't hit the ball in the air without some type of what they want to call launch angle. Mm-hmm. But it's the way they teach it now. And kids are, in a belief that if I swing up at the ball, literally try to swing up at the ball, hit the ball in the air, that's going to make me successful. And that is just not the truth. Ground balls still get through. Line drives are obviously the best. And a well-hit fly ball, as Charlie Mann used to say, will come down behind the fence. So the pitching, pitching is pitching. Guys are throwing harder, no doubt. They're throwing more pitches. They're pitching in counts that what we would call are backwards, getting behind guys and staying with the breaking balls, taking advantage of the hitter's aggression. But more than anything, I think the offensive side, the way they teach it now, I think it's hurt the game more than anything. Strikeouts, 170 strikeouts, was frowned upon. Now it's like, well, it doesn't matter because he hit 40 home runs.
Right.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
I don't either. I also don't agree with the shift really taking over the game. Do you have any problems? Would you get rid of the shift? And back when you were playing, which wasn't that long ago, was there a lot of shifts going on? I don't recall that.
No, that was in the beginning. My last year with the last year and a half, I guess, with the Dodgers and White Sox, for me, that's when I really noticed. Because for me, they never really shifted. And I was a dead pull hitter, no doubt, but they had to respect the speed, and I wasn't a bunter. But if you gave it to me, I might do it. So I never really saw it, but Ryan Howard saw it so often.
Right.
And it really just became unfair. And I would like to see something like the NBA, where if you're in the zone defense, you could be in the zone, but if you're a man, you have to be a man, but you can't be, a zone and man at the same time. Maybe put limits, and I hate to draw lines on the field, but, maybe if there's something that kind of disguises in the grass, hey, as a shortstop, you can only come over this far. As a second baseman, you can only come over this far. Third baseman, you cannot go play short right field. I think something like that would even the game out and keep it more in its purest form. But we have to take everything in stride, and that's the way the game is played today. So unless things are going to happen, we just have to get used to it.
Defensively, at those times, were you guys, when you were at the Phillies, were you shifting much, or was that still all come later too? Like when you were at the Dodgers?
No, we weren't shifting at all. We were allowed to play with our eyes and what we felt. Chase and I, would communicate, and if I was, if I take myself closer to the second base side, he knew that, but I also made sure I brought my third baseman over to cover the backside of me. But there was never really a time that we just, did the true shift. We just kind of shifted within our positions. So I liked it that way. You let me play the game with my eyes, which was the exact opposite when I got to the Dodgers. They would, stack Howie Kendrick at straightaway short, and I'm playing in a 5-5 hole. And it's confusing, and I'm sure guys have gotten used to it now. But then it was like, okay, well, which balls do I take? Which balls do Howie take? I don't want to be in his way. He doesn't want to get in my way. And you find yourself, misplaying a lot of balls that you could have gotten to relying on the guy next to you to make that play. So I would rather for the game to be played with eyes and feel, because although a guy is slated to do this, we don't know if he went out last night. We don't know if he has something to drink. We don't know if he's feeling good. None of those things that when you're playing the game, you can see, like, I know he likes to pull. I know he likes to go the other way, but he's a little slow, or he has a little extra energy today. I can see him trying to get out in front of the ball. Those are things that they don't allow the current day players to make the adjustments to during the game. We have a guy here, everybody stays there, and we'll take our chances with what the numbers say.
Former National League Most Valuable Player Jimmy Rollins joining us on the program. You can follow him on Twitter at JimmyRollins11. So from the Bay Area, you spent the bulk of your career on the Eastern Seaboard in Philadelphia, and I know all about Philadelphia, about the fans. They can be very fickle, and I'm putting it nicely, but they could also be just great, great fans, especially when things are going well, which they were for a lot of your years. What was it like spending that much time in Philadelphia with fans that some consider the toughest fans in sports?
I got a chance to understand the fans, and I said this to anyone you ask, and especially young players. Once you understand the mindset of a Philly fan, they're really not that bad. If you don't, you'll take everything personally, and you can get crushed. But when you realize that these people, live, die, were born as a Philly, and you're there renting basically the uniform for me it was 14 years, you'll understand it. When you leave, they're still Phillies fans.
Right.
When you're on vacation after your career, they're supporting that team that maybe you're paying attention to or not, but they are. So before you were a Philly, they were a Phillies fan. When you're no longer a Philly, they're going to continue to be a Phillies fan. Then you will understand the passion that they have towards the team. It isn't towards you. It's, hey, you're representing our city. We're already stuck between New York and D.C., so what are you going to do that's going to help raise us up? And when you understand that, you can take some of the assaults that they would throw at you, but if you're me, you give it right back. So, if we all in this together,
right.
You know what I'm saying? If you could talk about me, I could talk about you.
Exactly.
And if you don't like it, well, don't talk about me.
Who were your heroes growing up? Who were the guys that you kind of modeled your baseball career after?
Ricky Henderson won. That was my favorite player of all time. Being from the Bay Area, being from Alameda, Ricky's from Oakland. My dad's from Oakland. He and Ricky grew up together, which I didn't know till much later in life. And then as far as playing my position, it was Ozzie Smith and Cal Ripken. And it's funny, I've been this height for a long time. I just stopped growing. So in the days I was taller than everybody, I played and felt like Cal. But when I played with the older kids and I was shorter, I felt like Ozzie. So I would kind of go back and forth between those three.
So you're in the Bay Area, and it's unique because you have the A's, and then all you do is cross the bridge, and you have the Giants. But
we didn't cross the bridge.
What'd you say? Did you rarely cross?
I said
the bridge?
we didn't cross the bridge. Now, Forrest, I would go over there to shop, but we didn't support the Giants.
Yeah. See, I wonder. Yeah, I figured that if you're in Alameda, you're the A's, and I know now they're battling to keep that team. I don't know how much vested interest you still have in that, but being from there, you're probably one of those that, like us, that believe the A's belong in Oakland, but they're threatening again. Do you think they can lose the A's?
I think they can. I know Vegas has been thrown out, and I know the team has gone there a number of times, and it's a viable option. And I'm not sure how that works for baseball, just because, it's a game that's played daily, where Vegas, people go there for the experience. Football can survive because everybody's going to fly in Friday or Saturday night and then go do that.
Right.
Hockey, surprisingly, has done well, but neither of that game is played every single day. But I do believe that the Oakland A's belong in Oakland. But if you're not selling tickets, and fans, although they love the team, they're not spending their money on the team as a business decision and being able to acquire players that can help you win championships, you need revenue.
Right.
If they aren't able to generate that revenue, like I said, as a business decision, I understand why a team would make a move. They've been there for a long time. Obviously, they didn't originate there. But teams have to do what they have to do for the fans. It really sucks when you are facing the threat of losing your team. But also from a fan's perspective, if we aren't selling out games and helping that team generate revenue, what do we expect them to do?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Who was the toughest pitcher on you to face?
Really, I don't know. I would say the 2010 Giant staff. They had Lincecum, Bumgarner, and Kane. That was just a tough three to
Kane's
face.
from here. We know Kane. Yeah, he's from here.
Yeah, that's a pretty good. I'd say it's a pretty good threesome right there. It's a tough weekend series right there.
They had a run. It was just like, man, you had these three in the series. It was like, all right, there's really not one we could say we're just going to beat. You just have to battle. And I know my numbers against Madison and Lincecum are horrible. I fared better against Matt Cain, but it was a battle every time you had any of those three. So I can't say which one guy, but I do know those three on back-to-back nights made it pretty tough.
Was there a pitcher during your career that you just owned for whatever reason and you just loved seeing that guy?
Yeah. That would probably go to Tom Glavine.
Really?
I knew what he was trying to do. And before that, it was, the Brave staff. The first couple of years, it was just intimidating. Glavine, Maddox, Smoltz, guys I watched since I was in junior high school, and here I am facing them and living with the memory of watching these guys strike out and making some of the best hitters in baseball just look like fools.
Right.
Now I'm in a batter's box, and it took my first 2 seasons to get over that. Hold on. I'm tired of these guys getting me out. And it wasn't that they were getting me out. I was so intimidated, I was letting them get me out. It was almost like whatever they wanted to do, they did. And, from that point, I fared very well against Smoltz and Maddox, but Tom Glavine, I just had his number. It was just one of those things. And no doubt he got me, don't get me wrong, but my numbers against him were just outstanding.
That's crazy. That's for a guy that's that good and all three of those guys to be able to actually handle them. That's pretty darn impressive.
Jimmy was damn good too, so it makes a lot of sense. All right, before we let you go, the Phillies this year are making this great run. They've been red hot. They've taken the lead in the National League East. What do you think are the prospects right now?
Well, the way they're playing right now, the prospects are very good. It seems they've gotten to the point where they finally decided that they want to win. And that's something that I've talked to John Middleton about. And no one can give it to you. No one can make you want to win. And that clubhouse on those airplanes, on the bus rides to and from the airport, you have to feel that way, that we want to win, we're going to win 100% of the time. There's no break. There's no off switch. But whatever they found, they've turned on. And then you win. You win big series. You find yourself in first place. Now, all of a sudden, you go from thinking we can to you go from thinking and then the want, and then the proof is you're winning. The belief is we can.
Yeah.
And who's going to tell them that they can't? They have this tough stretch coming up. They played the Mets who were in first place. We have the Dodgers coming in. Whew. What a staff can they have.
That's
and
crazy.
Followed up by just as equally as hot Cincinnati Reds team. So this is a stretch of games with, I think, 9 games in 10 days at home. They've won the first 3, handily. Went ahead and became the first place team. These next 6, I was talking to Alec Baum. I was like, look, when you're playing teams that are, your adversaries, but as equal adversaries, you're looking to go 500. You don't come in, hey, we're just going to just blow this team out the water. You can't have that perspective because it's just not a reality. You don't look to lose any games, but understand that this team, you know what, they're probably going to beat us once or twice. Maybe you lose one series, maybe you win one series. But if you go 500 over the stretch and you don't lose any ground, you handled your business. And if you happen to go 4-2, then, you basically won that World Series during that 6-game stretch.
Jimmy, you've been awfully kind to spend this much time with us. Obviously, I'm a big fan of yours. A lot of great memories of watching you play for my Philadelphia Phillies and your Philadelphia Phillies. Hit the ball straight down the fairway. Make those putts. Enjoy your time. And thanks again for joining us.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Jimmy Rollins. NL MVP back in 2007. Led the Phillies to the World Series title in 2008 with Chase Utley and Ryan Howard. When we come back, we're going to give you the topic for tomorrow's 5 favorite things. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Tired of waiting on your sportsbook? Waiting for deposits and withdrawals? No more waiting with Action 24/7. We're cutting out the middleman. Deposit or withdrawal in cash. Action Action 24/7 has more than 100 partners in Tennessee for cash deposits and withdrawals. Visit action247.com for a location. Cash deposits and withdrawals from your Tennessee sportsbook. Action247.com. You got action.
Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call 800-889-9789.
Napa know-how. Right now, a 5-quart jug of Napa full synthetic motor oil is just $18.99. It keeps your engine from breaking down without breaking the bank. Yep, a 5-quart jug of Napa full synthetic for $18.99 is not just a great deal. It's the break you've been waiting for. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating locations does not include state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Advertised sales price may not be available in some states. Offer ends 8/31/21.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Sunrise Buick GMC is having their annual tent sale and the selection or savings are bigger than ever. A huge selection to choose from, big discounts from factory rebates high as $6,000. It's okay if you've got slow credit. Sunrise has over $500 million available for immediate financing with interest low as 0%. An $18 million used car inventory. And remember, Sunrise specializes in cars and trucks under $10,000. See them all at sunrisememphis.com. Savings and fun for all ages. The 33rd annual tent sale going on now at all Sunrise locations. Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello. I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 115 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. So easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. Stock up heavy on all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
We'll talk some Grizzlies with Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian coming up at 12:05. We get 2.5 questions to get to as well in our final hour. Tomorrow is Wednesday. That means 5 favorite things. Here's your topic for tomorrow. Your 5 favorite theme parks / amusement parks / water parks. Your favorite venues to go and entertain yourself via the theme park, the water park, the amusement park. That's for tomorrow's 5 favorite things. So think about it, get your list together, and then get them into us tomorrow. It's brought to you by La Guadalupana. Let me find this statement made by, I don't know if I can find it quick enough. I'm going to get to this in hour number 3. I had a statement here from Greg Sankey that I wanted to get to. My iPad just ran out of power, but I'll get it to you in the third hour. It's about the coronavirus, obviously. COVID-19, and the numbers are starting to rise, not only with adults, but with children as well. And we are closing in on the start of the football season, and we don't need anything to derail what is hopefully going to be a full season of pigskin with packed houses and tailgating and all that good stuff. So I wanted to mention that, and I'll do that here to kick off hour number 3 before we bring on Drew Hill. So last night, the Yankees and the Royals, Eli, did you watch that game or did you read about that game?
I did not. Baseball season's over to me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The
Phillies
have gotten hot, and the Cubs sold their whole team.
I literally have not watched a baseball game since the trade deadline.
Well, this was unique. The New York Yankees, Jerry, they blew 4 saves in the game and won. Let me repeat that. They blew 4 saves and still won. They also made history. The Yankees and the Royals became the first teams in a game where both teams scored runs in the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th innings. That set the record. And then to boot, they both scored in the 11th, with the Yankees outscoring the Royals to get the W.
Impressive.
4 blown saves, and they still ended up winning the game. So that is nuts. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084 or go online to newroofmemphis.com. They offer financing, different plans and options to suit your budget. 6, 12, even an 18-month same as cash option. They'll work with your insurance company. They'll work out of pocket, whatever it takes. Pinnacle's part of the Roofs for Troops program. Any veteran, active, or retired, you get a $250 rebate on the purchase of a new roof. Pinnacle does both residential and commercial roofing. So all you business owners out there, property managers, listen up. Along with the homeowners, if you have a leak or any other roofing problem, you call Brandon today. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They're licensed, bonded, and insured and a member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a 5-year labor warranty on the purchase of a new roof, and all their work is satisfaction guaranteed. That means carpentry work, exterior painting. If you need gutters replaced, shingles installed, fencing put up, siding, rotten wood repair, they can do it all. Quality work at a very good price. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. Call Brandon. Tell him you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays. Tell him I sent you. 901-438-5084 or online at newroofmemphis.com. When we come back, busy third hour, Drew Hill, 2.5 questions. And as I mentioned, Greg Sankey with a statement about COVID. That's all coming up. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.